Hi, everybody. I'm so excited. We have Nick from Nick Seasonal Decor here tonight. And besides behind the camera, we have um, Alex. And behind the operating the YouTube and Facebook, you've got me. So we're working as a team tonight.
Yes. Thank you, Sandy. I'm so excited to be back. So I hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I hope you guys enjoyed the time off. I certainly did. This was like the first year we had a couple of days just to relax. So we are getting back into the groove of things. So tonight we have a lot of bows to create. We're going to use both our large Bowwdabra, which is this bigger device here, our mini Bowwdabra, and our Bowwdabra wire that you see here as well. So all of the Bowwdabras, the wires, and the ribbons and tools can be found from nickseasonaldecor.com. And I think the first bow I'm going to teach is a classic. So this is going to be perfect for winter because it's got a little bit of red, but I think this can also work for Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, rustic 4th of July if you pair it up with like a dark navy blue as well. So many different holidays and seasons, of course, Christmas too. So we're a little past Christmas, but winter, especially here in colder regions like Massachusetts or New England in general, you guys know that we have a long winter season ahead of us. So I'm going to start by taking a length of our Bowwdabra wire. I'm going to cut it about 24 to 28 inches long. And for those of you that are catching the replay, do me a huge favor and let me know down below that you are watching. So we're going to start with our large Bowwdabra. So each Bowwdabra that you order does come with a wand. This one is the Bowwdabra one. And it's used to compress your ribbons, scrunch them down, and get them as small as possible in the middle to tie it off. I typically don't use that. I typically use my hands to compress my ribbons, but it is a tool that is included with your Bowwdabra. So I'm going to start with this 2.5-inch burlap ribbon with the red edge. And I think, Alex, this would be very pretty as a funky bow. It's kind of a traditional ribbon, so let's mix it up and do something not so traditional with it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take ribbons about 26, 28 inches long. They don't have to be perfect, you guys, and I tell you this all the time. For those of you that have seen me here on Bowwdabra in the past, let me know down below. But if you have, you know that I am very, very picky in telling you guys to not be picky, right? So the reason for that is I think a lot of us designers have a common mindset and we're all kind of perfectionists. So for those of you that are just starting with your bow making, you're going to tend to want to be kind of perfect with your measurements and whatnot. So my biggest tip is to actually not even start doing it that way because that'll only stress you in the long run. If you have seen my bows and you like my bows, just know that I am never sitting there measuring things out perfectly. As you can see, I'm just cutting ribbons random lengths. So we're going to do one more piece.
Hello, everyone. Happy almost New Year's.
Yes. What is tomorrow, New Year's Eve?
Tomorrow is New Year's Eve.
Yeah, so let me know if you guys are doing anything fun. I'm not. I think Alex is, but I'm just hanging out and enjoying the last few days before things get crazy again. So now that we have all of our ribbons pre-cut, welcome, Rose. Yes, another thing too is if you're watching, make sure to let us know where you're watching from or just say hi and you could be our lucky winner for a free roll of ribbon tonight. So I'm going to dovetail these real quick so that way we don't have to do it after. We can just fluff. And that one didn't come out perfect. So all you have to do is fold your tail in half and cut from the middle out towards the wired edge at an angle. And look at it, well, maybe against the white table will be better. Look at how much better that looks than, let's say, that. So again, I like to line them up. That way we can do, kill two birds with one stone. Take them, line them up, take it, fold it in half, and cut from the middle out towards the wired edge at an angle. And that just creates the perfect dovetail. So I'm going to do that to all of our pieces. It looks like I have 5 pieces to cut or dovetail. So just take your ends, line them up, fold in half, and dovetail. And we'll do that all ends. And it's going to make more sense in the end. So if you've never seen me do this before, it really makes all the difference for getting that designer quality wreath. So we're going to do that to the last piece now. There we go. And we can clean up our scraps. All right, so now it's time to actually add a wire to the Bowwdabra. So I'm going to take that length of wire that I cut in the beginning. I'm just going to fold it in half, and I'm going to place that right into the middle. So by folding it in half, you're going to have a loop on one side, and then you're going to have a cut end on the other side. Doesn't matter which way you place it in, just place it in. And then I like to take it a step further and just tuck that wire underneath. I use my Bowwdabra a little bit differently than others. I like to rotate my Bowwdabra instead of my hands. So by keeping that wire underneath as I rotate, we're not going to have the issue of accidentally pulling it out. So now what we can do is take our ribbon, just fold it, pinch, fold it in half, pinch at about 2.5, 3 inches. And all we're going to do is take those pieces and place them right inside the Bowwdabra. And the Bowwdabra will hold it in place and you don't have to worry about a thing now. So we're going to do that, all of these pieces. Hey, Terry. Hey, Beth. Thank you all so much for the shares. I greatly appreciate it. If I've taught you something over the year, right? This is the last Bowwdabra Live last Bowwdabra Live this month. So, Happy New Year, you guys. It's crazy that this year flew by, and it's been such fun, I'd say, seeing you guys here in Bowwdabra. So if I taught you something new over the year, let me know. But all I'm doing is I'm just taking them, folding them in half, pinching 2.5, 3 inches down. You can also separate the tails at this point too. You don't have to, but it does make it a little bit easier when it comes time to fluff because everything's already arranged the way you want. And then another thing I forgot to mention is I'm alternating the sides. So here is the last piece of ribbon we worked in. Here's the loop. Here's the tails. I'm going to place a loop on the opposite side, and that way we have a well-balanced bow. Hey, Max, nice to see you. Max is an awesome Wreath community member. I'll be seeing her in a few short minutes. Terry's from Virginia. Let us know where you're watching from. We are here in Massachusetts, but I'm curious to know, with social media and lives, you can be watching from anywhere and everywhere. So let me know where you are located. So now that we have our wires pulled out from underneath, we're going to just bring them to the surface. Here we have the loop and the cut end. I'm going to feed that cut end through the loop and pull it tight. Hey, Jean. Jean's from Alabama. Pam is from Orlando, Florida.
Hi, everyone. Ooh, Orlando, Florida sounds nice and warm for us right now.
Right?
It actually wasn't too bad today here in Massachusetts.
No, it was nice and warm, actually. So now here's
It
the
was
wire.
beautiful here in Las Vegas.
Oh, of course it was, Sandy, right?
It
But here we have the wire, and this is what you'll attach to your wreath, your swag, you name it. For the sake of pictures, I actually snip that off, and that way when we send pictures over to Bowwdabra, they're not going to see, or you guys are not going to see the wires. And then we can just fluff it out. So pull apart all of your loops and your tails. There's be 56 of you guys. Let's see if we can hit 100 live viewers tonight. Thank you all for the shares. And at this point in time, if you guys would like added inspiration, make sure to join the Bowwdabra fan gallery as well as the Nick Seasonal Decor crafting community. Both groups are great resources for added inspiration and all of that fun stuff. Look at how pretty that turned out.
So pretty.
And none of the tails are the same length. None of the loops are perfect. I do tend to keep my loops a little bit more symmetrical than my tails. Tails, it's a free-for-all. I do not care how off we are. If they look too off, we can always snip them. But I think it just adds a lot of interest. I mean, look at that bow. So show some hearts if you guys think that bow is pretty as well. So easy to do. Each and every one of you can do this too. Hey, Carolyn. Kelly's from North Carolina. Colleen's from Nevada. Bonnie is here. I see a lot of Wreath community members. So Carolyn, we have Bonnie. Welcome, you guys. Marilyn says hello as well. So that is bow number 1. What are we thinking on that?
Stunning.
Is that pretty?
I love the funky bow with this ribbon too. It just looks so fun.
Right? So it's like a traditional ribbon, but with that funky
little twist.
Yeah, funky twist. All right, that is bow number 1. Time for a second bow. So again, your large Bowwdabra. We're going to take another length of wire. We're going to snip that about 24 inches. If you have something that's really big that you're attaching it to, by all means, cut a longer piece. It's easier to trim away the wire than it is to add a whole extra piece. So just take that wire, tuck it underneath, and we are good to start working in some ribbons. So what ribbon do I want to do now? Let's do this one because I think this is also very pretty for winter. It's just an emerald green metallic ribbon. And you know what this will also work for?
St. Patrick's Day?
St. Patrick's Day, which is coming up. I don't know what month that is. I want to say March.
Yep.
So this one, let's do a traditional bow. I haven't shown you guys that yet. So we're going to start with a length of tails. However long that is going to be long enough for me. And I actually prefer my tails to be 2 different lengths. One that's slightly longer and one that's slightly shorter. It adds visual interest. So for those of you that do get caught up with measurements, that is a quick tip. The more irregular your tails are, the better your bow will look. So we're going to take our ribbon now. And for the traditional bow, this is really when we're going to twist our Bowwdabra instead of our hands. So I'm going to take my ribbon. This is the front. This is the back. I'm going to stick the front facing down and the back side up. Leave a little bit of an overhang. See how we have about 1/2 inch or so? That is important. That will prevent us from accidentally pulling it out as we secure, our bow to anything or fluff it out. Now I give it 1/2 turn. So after creating that 1/2 turn, we're going to take our ribbon, pinch, and reverse it, and then place it back into the Bowwdabra. And then we have our first loop. And then we're going to just repeat that process over and over and over again until we have the amount of loops we want. For winter and fall and winter, I do prefer more loops. And for spring and summer, I prefer less loops. But you can absolutely work in some greenery into your bows. There's so many different ways of sprucing it up. Again, take your ribbon with your next loop. You can just eyeball it. If we want a smaller one, do a smaller twist. Bigger one, do a bigger twist. This one looks good to me, so we're going to take it, pinch it, reverse it, work it in. Hey, Carolyn. Carolyn's from South Wales, UK. Welcome, Carolyn, and Happy New Year to you as well. Patricia's from Ireland. Becky's from Kentucky. Welcome, everyone.
We have a lot of friends overseas tonight.
That's right. Yeah, be sure to say hi to you guys, even those of you watching the replay. Donna says, I can't get my bows to look right. So I've seen Donna say that in previous videos, Alex, and I want to tell Donna that she eventually will, right? So don't give up hope, you guys. I know bow making is not the easiest thing, but once it clicks in your brain, trust me when I say it's all going to make sense, and it's just going to be so easy after that. So it just takes that initial click in your brain, and then once it registers, you're going to be a bow making expert. All right, let's just finish up this roll of ribbon. So Rhonda's from Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania, and I imagine she's having similar temperatures to us. Today was a beautiful day, like Alex said, but usually it's a lot colder. So hey, Sheila, she's from Shreveport, Louisiana. So I'm just finishing up this roll. So we were able to create 2 or 3 projects over the year using this roll of ribbon. And, 10 yards goes a long way. So we're going to snip off that excess, work in our final loop. And now, for those of you just tuning in, this is how you secure your wire to your bow. We're going to take the wires from underneath. As I mentioned, when you fold the wire over, you're going to have a loop and you're going to have a cut end, right? Take that cut end, bring it through the loop, and just pull it tight. It's as easy as that. Now it's partially secured, but not secured enough to attach it to anything. You're going to pull your bow out of your Bowwdabra. Now what we're going to do is take your wire, flip it over, and tie from behind. I always like to give it 2 or 3 knots, typically 3, right? I want to make sure that it's secure. And then you can attach it to anything and then fluff it afterwards. But since we're not attaching this to anything, I take my wire and I snip it off. That's right, Carolyn. Carolyn says bow making takes a lot of practice. I had to do it a lot before learning. Yeah, the more comfortable you are with ribbons, the easier it's going to be. So you got to get comfortable with your ribbons. Play around with them. Try making some loops in your hand. Feel the textures. All ribbon comes in so many different textures and prints and styles and widths that the more you kind of get comfortable with it, the easier it's going to be. And look at that. I mean, that looks like a beautiful bow, if I do say so myself.
Stunning.
What do you guys think?
I love the reflection of the metallic too.
Right? I love that too. So I see 65 of you guys. Make sure to hit that like and share button. Patricia's watching from upstate New York. So we did a wreath convention where I was a guest designer in upstate New York, Rochester. Gosh, maybe 6 years ago now, Alex?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
So this is what the bow looks like now. So I'm going to just hold it up so you guys can see with the length difference with the tails. And this would look great in a wreath, a swag, you name it, a perfect universal bow technique. This traditional bow technique I've used for years. It's been around for many years, probably the oldest technique out there, next to like bow ties and stuff, right? Something simple like that. But it just looks great. So that is the second bow. All right, let's do another bow now. So this bow, I think I want to do our wreath bow now, Alex. What do you think?
Yeah.
So let's do our wreath bow. And I'm thinking, should we do a traditional style bow, but show it with a 7/8, or should we do funky, or should we do like even amount of loops on either side? What are we leaning towards?
Let's see. We already did funky tonight. Let's do traditional.
Traditional? All right, let's try something different. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing. All right. We're going to take our wire, place it in the middle of the Bowwdabra. We're going to take our tails, and I'm going to place them in. Doesn't have to be symmetrical. Oh, it kind of created a heart. Can you see that? It's like an upside down heart for you guys. I see the heart, but you guys don't. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our ribbon, place it in. See that overhang? Very important. You always want a little bit of an overhang to prevent it from slipping out. Now what I'm going to do is half a turn. We're going to do one loop, about 4 inches. We're going to repeat that process, another half a turn, another loop. We are going to do a few more of those. Let's do 3 of them. Just keep turning. It doesn't matter which way you turn, or if you want to turn it the opposite way, you can do the same thing. Just having that turn, I find to make it easier. So again, you can do the opposite direction. So we want these 3 loops to be somewhat even. They don't have to be perfect, like I've said before. Somewhat even. Here's another turn, doesn't matter which way. There is our 3 loops on either side. So now what we're going to do, thank you, Sheila, for sharing. Carolyn says, buying the Bowwdabra helped me tremendously. I can make some beautiful weddings now, have some made for some weddings. Carolyn, share a picture and tag us. I would love to see what you've created. So now what we're going to do is another turn, and we're going to do a few smaller loops now. So let's do 2 on either side. And I think this bow is called a 3-2-1, but I'm not positive. It's just a fancier bow tie. So there's 2, 1 on either side. We're going to do 1 more. And these are about 2.5-inch loops. And then we have 1 more loop. And everybody that's watching, all 60 of you, don't jump the gun, Alex.
I know, I always have to bite my tongue at this part, guys.
What is the final loop known as? Everybody get those comments in. I don't want to see any silent watchers. Everybody let me know what this final loop is. And it doesn't have to be big by any means. So that's the final loop. What's it called? Or what do I call it? Who knows what other people call it? I know what I call it, and I think some of you guys do as well. So we're going to take our wire, again, bring it to the middle, and pull the cut end through the loop. And now what we can do is tie it from behind. Flip it over.
Florotopia got it right. She said it's a button loop.
Yes. Pam said button. Donna said button. Yes, you guys have been watching. That's what I like to see. So now that our bow is created, we're going to actually attach this to the wreath. I can't wait to see how this wreath turns out, so I am going to do that now. And look at that bow. I can't get over that
I
one.
love it.
That one's so pretty. All right. Now we're going to place our bow in the lower right-hand corner right here. So to secure bows to your wreath, you're going to just take that wire, bring it to the back, right? And then I'm going to flip it over so you guys can see. Bring it to the back. All I'm going to do is just wrap it around and then bring it back to the front. So it's as easy as that. So now that I brought it to the front, we can tie it off. So another perk of doing it this way is it prevents you from having any kind of cut wire in the back. You just have that pretty gold Bowwdabra wire wrapped around the back, and it's just a little bit more clean, a little bit more sleek, and I think it looks better. So now we can snip off our wire and fluff our bow. To fluff, I'm going to pull my tails down first. Get those down like that. Now we can take our ribbon on either side and fluff it open. So there's not too many loops on this bow, so it fluffs very easily. And we're going to fill this in with some really pretty winter greens and some winter berries. All right, there is that bow. How cute is that?
So pretty. I love the different lengths.
Right? Okay, now that the bow is complete, and you can spend an eternity fluffing, you guys know that, we are going to work in some really pretty pine. Look how pretty that is with the pine cones and all those textures. Hey, Marcy, nice to see you. All right, so for this, we're going to just snip off branches. So I'll snip one here. I'll snip one here. I'll snip this one off. All different lengths. And I think by doing it that way, it makes it more visually interesting too. And this is one of my favorite types because doesn't that look real?
I was going to say from this angle, it looks so real. This is such a great greenery.
So we're going to snip a bunch of little pieces off. Let's snip this one
and
here.
This is part of our newer greenery that we just got in, but you can find this and so many others at nickseasonaldecor.com.
I'm going to snip this one here.
And the little pine cones too.
Aren't those cute?
They're so cute and little.
All right, so a couple more pieces. I think I want one really long. Let's keep this one extra long. Look at that. It's like a finger, you guys. Look at that.
It's swinging.
All right, so we're going to snip. Let's just finish this off. And then these extra pine cones, we can hot glue in just a minute. All right, so now I'm going to blow all of this towards Alex.
He wasn't kidding.
Now the table is nice and clean. Well, a little bit more. There we go. Yes. So Pamela, this wire is very secure. So the first time I ever worked with this wire, Sandy actually sent me a roll. Gosh, Sandy, what are we talking now? 4 or 5 years, maybe 5 years.
At
Uh,
least. Yeah.
at least. And I was hesitant. I've never worked with it. It's very thin looking, but with that braiding on the outside of it, it's very sturdy. So I was pleasantly surprised by it. So, Pamela, yes, by kind of wrapping it around and tying it from the front, keeps it nice and secure. Great point. So I'm just going to take this pine and circulate all the way around. But look at how it's already turning out perfect for winter, perfect for Christmas. I mean, heck, if you want to do a spring bow, you could do a spring bow. Pine is around year round. We have pine trees in our yard. Doesn't mean it has to only be used at Christmas or winter. So just dipping some more, and we're going to fill in. So how many of you guys have worked with pine before? I'm curious to know. Everybody drop a comment. Let me know if you have. It
I
comes in
have.
so many colors. Sandy has. But try using it for spring too, you guys. Don't be afraid to do that. All right. So now we're going to use these ones, which are a little bit thicker and dense, to cover up a little bit more of that grapevine, kind of bulk it up. So I'll place one here and just fill in. Hey, Sandra. Place another one down below. And then we still have a couple more pieces before we work in some berries, you guys. The berries are going to really make this design pop.
I mean, just as is, though. This is beautiful. Just
Right?
greenery and a beautiful red bow.
Sue said, received my purchase today and absolutely loved the mesh. Alex and Bella packed it and a handful of candy. Well, thank you, Sue, for your order.
Thank you, Sue.
Who doesn't love candy, right? Okay. Now that the greenery's in place, Alex is squishing the ribbon. Alex was holding on to the tails on this, you guys. So let's fluff it a little bit better. That looks perfect to me. So let's come back in with some berries, and then we can work in those pine cones. But what do you guys think of that so far? Is that pretty? Rhonda's used pine. Oh, well, I have one more piece already cut. Let's work that in. And then we'll work in the berries. I'll place that there. And here is our cranberries. So funny thing is, you guys, last week I bought some cranberries, or 2 weeks. It's been longer than that because they kind of turned to raisins. They turned into craisins. And Alex went to use them the other day as like a garnish, as like a decorative thing for a cake she was making, and they were
squishy.
They were squishy. So if I let them sit on the counter for another week, we would have definitely had craisins by then. So, but I mean, you could use real cranberries if you wanted, and birds can just eat them right off the wreath. So we're going to just break this down. These are weather resistant. And at this time of year, some of you guys are so fortunate for such calm weather, right? But our weather is so unpredictable. It'll be -20 one day. Well, not literally, but it'd be like 25 degrees, 20 degrees. And then today was almost 60, or it was 60.
Yeah, it's funny when you wake up and the snow is melting. You're like, oh, it's a good day. It's nice and warm.
All the snow melted today, you guys, and it's been sticking around for a long time now. Well, like a week. It hasn't melted at all, but today was the day. And then we'll have some more. So I'm going to just take these berries. I'm going to snip the stems down a little bit. And I see we have 62 of you guys. Thank you so much for the shares. I appreciate you being here, and I hope that I've taught you something new. Hey, Sheila.
Hi, Sheila.
Okay, so let's work these berries in. All right, so I'm just going to dip these in hot glue, and I'm going to start up top. So we're going to place our first piece here. And look at how pretty. So we'll just take these and just fill in. I'll place one down below. And another tip for all of you that might have not made a wreath before, bend your stems a little bit. Give them a little bit of a curve. And then when you place them on the sides, they have like a nice waterfall cascade effect, which I love. So these are the finer berries that come on this spray. See how they're kind of dainty? And then we got these ones, which are more like cranberries, right?
Yeah.
So multiple textures in your designs for those of you that are just starting out, or for those of you that have been at this a while too. Not a bad idea to have multiple textures. It really creates a stunning wreath. And something like this, I think, would be the perfect Christmas gift, birthday gift, teacher's appreciation gift, whatever, right? Any type of gift. I mean, it's very economical. You're investing 10, 15, 20 bucks into a design, and it's something that your loved ones can display on their door. What do you think, Alex? Well, you're sick of looking at wreaths by now, right?
Hey,
But
I still steal his from time to time.
but wouldn't that make a great gift if somebody sent you a pretty wreath?
Absolutely.
So we're gonna just take the last few berries and poke them in. Place them down below.
I love the
I
cluster
always feel
berries.
that wreaths are great housewarming gifts.
Absolutely, yes, definitely. So in years past, you guys, I actually used to have a lot of realtors purchase bulk fresh wreaths from me for all of their clients and the homes that they closed that year. So I know a lot of you guys are actually realtors, which is kind of crazy too, right? There's a lot of realtors that are wreath makers out there. So gifts for your clients too, and for those of you that are business owners too, make a wreath with your leftovers and give it to somebody that would enjoy it, or sell them too, right? I know a lot of you guys are business owners as well. All right, so we have one berry left, and where are you thinking this one goes, Alex? Looking down here.
Yeah, that left corner.
All right, so we have a little bit of a gap, so let's place our final piece. Sheila forgot to say hi to Dad and Yaya. I will make sure to let them know you said hi, Sheila.
Hi, Sheila.
And thank you all for being so involved in my family's life, right? So every time I click that live button, whether it's on Nick's Seasonal Decor or here on our Bowwdabra family, you guys are just so supportive and you get to know us, and it means a lot. So thank you to everybody that has grown with us and have been there, whether
We
it
have
be a
a
week.
winner.
Ooh, we
We
have a
have
lucky winner.
Justine McKelvey Overstreet from Arizona.
Well, congratulations, Justine.
Congratulations, Justine. You just won yourself a free roll of scrunchy ribbon tonight. You can send Bowwdabra a message on Facebook and let them know which color you'd like, red, silver, or gold, and also send them your address so they can get that shipped out to you.
Yes, congratulations once again. And if you're not Justine, which is everybody but Justine, you can win next Monday as well when Sandy takes over. Sandy or Joe takes over at 7 p.m. Eastern. But look how pretty that is. So show some hearts if you guys like that too. So easy. We
Yeah,
have
don't
what?
forget, everybody, we're live every Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Eastern. So definitely join us on either Facebook or YouTube.
Yes. Look at how easy. Just a yard or two of ribbon is all that it took for this wreath. So pretty. And you see my hair, my wings, you guys. I see you see my wings now. But we have time for one more quick bow. So that is the wreath tonight. Thank you all. I think that turned out pretty too. So let's switch gears and use our mini Bowwdabra. We're going to show the mini some love. And I think this is only $11.99 on our site.
Yes.
So very inexpensive. And this is a great travel sized one. Smaller bows, you can create wreath sized bows in this as well. But if you're on the go or if you do hair bows, this is the perfect smaller sized bow. So for this one, I think this color is perfect for winter. I mean, everything's gray outside. Why not add to it too, right? So
Yeah.
gray silver, perfect for this time of year. So I think we got to do Alex's favorite bow because she gets mad if I don't do this bow on Bowwdabra. So I'm going to show you guys this.
This is such a fun bow, guys.
I agree. And we typically only save this for Bowwdabra, you guys. So for those of you that watch us here, this is like a special treat because this is kind of like an exclusive tutorial that I do for you guys because it's going to be a secret for us, right? So you guys are the only ones that see this from me. So I'm just going to cut random pieces like that. Now what we can do is we can take our ribbons, line them up. Since they're all random lengths, I just line up one end. Don't worry about the other. Dovetail, fold in half, cut from the middle towards the outside, line up the other side, repeat that process once again, and do this to all of your tails. By doing them in advance, it makes it more exciting when you're finishing with the bow, right? That way you don't have to dovetail it after. You can just get immediate gratification from it. So quickly dovetail.
It's always fun to find one that Nick misses, though.
I know.
I always got to point it out.
I always miss one. Rose has both Bowwdabras. Okay. Sheila has the large. So we're going to take our ribbon and just stick them in. So the only tip that I can give you guys for this, or the only thing that I look for, let me rephrase it. The only thing I look for when creating this bow technique is to make sure to start with the largest and go from the largest to the smallest. And sometimes, as you can see, that one underneath is a little bit smaller, but you're not really going to notice in the end. But you don't want like a small piece like this to be hidden in the back, because then they'll just get lost. So I always start with the largest and work my way to the smallest, or somewhat the smallest. And we have about 6 or 7 pieces, and this would make the perfect hair bow or smaller wreath bow. You can do it in, this is 7/8 inch ribbon, but you can do this in 1.5. You can do it in 1 inch, 1.5, 2.5, even 4 inch. I've shown here on Bowwdabra how to do this with 4 inch ribbon too.
Yeah, and you can mix and match them all too.
Yep, you can. Absolutely. So we'll just tie this off. Nisi has both. Donna's got both. Linda has both. Look at you guys being prepared. So I'm just going to take our ribbons and just separate them. Just separate all of those tails, pull them apart. There's no loops to this bow, so it's extra easy. And once you do that, you have a really cool kind of sparkler or flower. And I think this color too, Alex. We have this in red and blue. I think I want to save this for 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
And do sparkler picks using ribbon. Because ribbon doesn't just have to be for bows, you guys.
Nope.
How cool is that?
So cute.
I think that turned out very pretty.
Looks like a little
This
firework.
is my favorite bow because it's such a great way to use up your scraps of ribbon.
Yeah, if you only have a foot or two, you can mix different prints as long as they match and look good together. But that is going to conclude our live tonight. So thank you, Sandy, for having us as a guest. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, comment down below the word, I'd say scissors, but I don't even know how to spell scissors. So let's do wire, W-I-R-E. And I know that you've watched the entire video. Let me know which bow is your favorite. And Happy New Year. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Good night,
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.